All right, good afternoon. As promised, I would start promptly at 2:10. So apologies again for the late start. All right, so today's session will be job fair sensitization. So in this session, we'll be telling you and explaining to you how to register for job fair. And in case if you haven't registered already, I will briefly outline what the registration process is. So firstly, there are two parts to registration, and there's also two sets of registration. So there's one registration for the non-final year students. That's everyone who is second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year. As long as you're not a final year student, you would fall into that category. And then if you are a final year student or a finalizing student or a graduate, then you fall in the other category. And so registration has been simplified a little bit. So usually for the finalizing students and graduates, we would have registration on an application known as SAPNAL. But unfortunately, due to some technical challenges, we won't be able to use the SAPNA site or application for registration. So as such, registration has been diverted to a Google form. So as a result, there are two Google Forms going around in case if you haven't seen them. So there's one for non-final years and there's one for final year, finalizing students and graduates. So as long as you identify the correct category that you're in, then you would sign up for job fair accordingly. So that's the first part of job fair registration. Part of your registration also, I'm getting to that, Ms. Kristen. The next part of job fair registration also will require you to register on the platform known as Hopin, that's Hopin, and that's where the event will be held. And our guest presenter today, who I will introduce in the next minute or so, will explain to you in greater detail what Hopin is and how to register on the platform so that you can go to job fair. You're most welcome, Ms. Kristen. All right, and also the last part of job fair registration will require you to get connected and to stay connected with my office via social media. So, and I will also place that information in the chat also. So to connect with us on social media, if you haven't done so already, you can find the Current Placement Unit on Instagram. That is at UTechJA_Current Placement. I will post it in the chat later on. And we also invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. So you can head over to YouTube, type in UTech Current Placement in the search, and you will find our channel. And of course, we welcome you to subscribe and look at all the career development content that we have there for you. All right, so I'm now going to go into introducing our guest speaker, and the next voice that you'll hear after this will be the guest speaker. So our guest speaker today will be Miss Danielle Tate. She is co-founder of a company known as CarryFlow, and she's also director of product management at a company known as the Interview JM. She's also a member of the Current Placement Advisory Committee here at UTech, and she has been a very, very active member. And might I add, she has been very instrumental in assisting us with the transition to have job fair online. Because as of last year, job fair had to be pushed online. And so after having been introduced to the platform known as Hopin, thankfully by Ms. Tate, we have been able to host job fair successfully online last year. And as such, we will be continuing on that same vein. So without further ado, the platform right now will be handed over to Ms. Danielle Tate, who will present on job fair registration via the Hopin platform.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for that, Matthew. First of all, I'm happy to see that we have a good turnout today, which means that there are quite a few of you that are really eager to participate in this job and career fair this year. And we're looking forward to hosting you. And the purpose of this session today is to ensure that you are as comfortable as possible with the platform, because when you're comfortable with using the platform, that's how you're going to get the most out of the day. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can begin the walkthrough of the platform itself. And I will ask you to first watch as I show you a little bit about the platform. And then secondly, I'll point your attention to a link that has been posted in the chat area, because we'd love as many persons as possible to register today, so that you don't have to go off and do it on your own, and we ensure that we can address any issues or any problems that you may have. And of course, we want as well for you to get some practical application and practice using the platform as well. And so that's again the purpose of today. So there are 2 links that are being posted in the chat, but I don't want you to just go and click there just yet. I want you to first pay attention to what's happening on the screen, and then we can look at the link afterwards. So first things first, Hopin is an event platform, and it's used for conferences, it's used for seminars, a lot of types of events. But the key difference between Hopin and Zoom is that Hopin allows or facilitates a lot more fluid communication. It's really built for you to be able to have multiple things going on at the same time, such as interviews while you have presentations and things like that. It's really built for interactive events and events where you have a lot of concurrent sessions or a lot of different types of sessions. So it's not just presentations that it allows for, but it allows for the individual rooms that are focused on very specific topics, such as an interview that maybe you want to have private, or a booth where you can learn about an organization and their way of working. For example, if you've always wanted to work for Scotiabank, but you want to learn more about them, and let's say they're participating in the fair, then you can go to their booth, you can learn about them and so forth. So I'll be showing you some of those features today, but the most critical thing that I want everyone who attends today to take away or to actually have done is the registration. And you can do this on your mobile phone, or if you have a laptop or wherever you're joining from, you should be able to complete the registration on that device. And I'm going to walk you through step by step as to how to do that. I will ask that if you have any questions, you post them in the chat, but you can also feel free to unmute and ask me to pause if you need clarification on something before we move forward. All right. So we want this to be interactive so that it can be beneficial. Now, the first thing is, as I mentioned, Hopin is a conference platform. And so one of the very first things that you will interact with whenever it is that you get that link to register outside of today, so maybe you get an email from the career office and they're reminding you that the event is coming up, and if you haven't registered already, click on the link to do so, or maybe they're just reminding you to check it out and ensure that your profile is up to date so that you have a picture uploaded, etc. Whenever you get those emails and you click on that link, the first page that you're going to see is this event page. You're going to know you're in the right place because you'll see the University of Technology banner here for the Career and Job Placement Fair. You'll see the register option, but there are also some other information that you can take note of. So it gives you a little bit of a description about the event. It also gives you an idea of what the schedule will be like. Now, some of these details I know are still being refined. So some of the presenters are not reflected here yet, and some of the participants and the booths are not reflected here yet. But you can use some of this information to give you a better understanding of what to expect on the day. The last thing though I want to point out is that at the bottom of the description on the event page, it does provide you with a link to a video that you can watch if you need a reminder of how to register. So if you're going through the registration process in the future, after we conclude this today, or if you're helping a friend, my apologies, or if you're helping a friend to register and you're having some challenges, there is a help video here. So I want you to know that. And you can also reach out to the support team via these numbers or via this email. So now let's actually get into the registration process so that we can get into the demo event. And I want you to know that the link that I've posted in the chat, which you're not using yet, you're going to use it later, is the same link that you're going to use to access the event on the day. So if you want to save this link somewhere, you can use it to register today, but you're also going to need to use it to actually enter the event on March 9. I'll just check the comments now. You're saying that the session is breaking up. Let me just pause. Is everyone else hearing? Let me know. Matthew, jump in and let me know. Am I breaking up or are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing you clearly. There may be one or two little points where it goes out, but otherwise I'm generally hearing you.
Okay. And I don't see any other comments. You said Shanoy says she's hearing. All right, so Rochelle, I don't know if it's an internet issue, but maybe check your connection and still let me know if you're having issues down the road. If you need, again, the video is there for you to watch, and we can provide other assistance through our support team as well, okay? All right, so again, that first thing that you're gonna do to actually register when you're ready to do so is to click the blue register button. Now, Hopin is a platform that it allows you to save a lot of information. Like you can save a profile picture, it can save social media links, you can put in the details of your profile, your interests, maybe the types of jobs and careers you're interested in, so that when companies see that, they would know what you're interested in. And I'll show you how to do all of that. But because it has so much opportunity for you to save information, it needs a profile to attach that to. So just as you have to create a profile with Facebook in order to save your picture and other information with Facebook, similarly with Hopin, you need to create a profile in order to save those details so that persons can view them. So that's the first thing that we're going to need to do. And in order to do that, we need to know who you are or what category of attendee you are. And UTech has determined that their attendees fit 5 major categories. So you could be a first-year student or a graduate student. And these students are typically seeking for full-time employment. So if that applies to you, you would simply click on that. So it highlights, if you notice, it's now been highlighted in like a light blue shade. Or you may be a student that doesn't fit that description or the next one, and you're an internship student. So you only care about looking for internship. You're not looking for full-time employment. You can select that option. UTech has separately indicated that there may be some second and third year students. So these are not final year students or graduates looking for full-time employment. These are second and third year students who are seeking internships. And if that applies to you, select that option. If you are not a second or third year student, so maybe you're a first year student, or if there's another category of student, but you are looking for an internship, then this one is what would apply. But if you're second and third year, again, this is what applies to you. If you're final year and graduate, this is what applies to you. And if you're a UTech staff member, then your option would be here as well. And we do have an option, I believe, for companies to use a separate area for them to register the company representatives. So again, these are the options. The first thing you're going to do when you click the register button is to look for the option that applies to you and click on it. And the way that you know that you've selected the option is because it becomes highlighted in a little very light blue, but you can still distinguish that it's selected. The next thing that you'll need to do is on the right-hand side, you may need to scroll down a little bit, but there's an option for you to continue on to the next phase, which asks you to enter some very basic information. Now, the reason why this option is here is because they need, of course, an email address and for your first name and last name in order to register you for Hopin and to register you for the event. So it's going to ask you to enter your email, your first name, your last name. And then afterwards, you will be able to select register. Typically as well, if you already have a Hopin account, you can bypass this by selecting login. So persons, for example, who attended the fair last year, like Matthew, for example, he already has a Hopin account. So instead of registering for a brand new account, what we recommend that he would do is to simply click the option to sign into his account, use his existing username and password, and then come back here to register so that it recognizes him as someone who does not need to create a new account. And of course, if he has forgotten his password, the forgot password option will be there. So I'm going to go over that one more time, but this time as I repeat it, I would like persons to open up the links and so that they can follow along and actually take the steps. Again, I know some persons may have just joined, so I'm going to go ahead and paste the link in the chat for you once again, and I'm going to reiterate the steps to register again, bearing in mind that you're doing it this time along with me, so I'm going to go a little more slowly. And of course, I'll ask for persons to either unmute or just post in the chat if you're having any difficulties following along at all. Is that clear? Let me hear or see a yes to know that you're listening, you're hearing, you're following me, and everything is good. Awesome. Thank you, Sasha Lee. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Sasha Gay. Wonderful. Okay. So I've posted the link in the chat. I'm going to post it again. Let me just make sure it's been posted to everyone in the meeting. Go ahead, click that link, bring it up. You can bring it up on your phone. You can bring it up on your iPad. You can bring it up on your laptop, any device, and click the blue register button. But if you attended last year and you know you have a Hopin account, just go ahead and click the sign in option and you'll enter your email address and your password from last year, or reset your password if you don't remember it. But everyone else is going to click register, which is the big blue button, in order to register for the event. Additionally, the sign in option is here on the page as well. So if you click register, the option to sign in is actually there. So you can do that on the same page as well. So again, click the link that we've posted in the chat, pull up the event page, click on register, and you can either sign in or you can just go through the process to create a brand new Hopin account. And again, the next thing that you're going to do is that you have to select a ticket type or an entrance or access type. So if you're a final year student or a graduate, you're going to select this first one. If you're a second or third year student, you're going to select this one. If none of those apply to you, but you are interested in internships, you are going to select this option. And if you're a UTech staff member, or Matthew, and I think Sasha Lee is on the line as well, and you are not a student, then you would select UTech staff. And once you do that, again, the option on the right-hand side for you to continue should become highlighted and will allow you to go in. So what I'm going to do is just briefly unshare because I want to log into my account so I can show you what the experience looks like when you're logged in. But I'm going to ask, I'm going to give us a few more seconds to actually complete that process. So anyone at all who has, if you have any issue with the process, let me know. Just go ahead and post a message in the chat or unmute and let us know if you need us to pause, reiterate something, if something is confusing. But otherwise, in the next minute or so, we are going to move forward to the next step, which should be essentially once you have logged in, what that looks like. And I know we have some persons joining a little late. So I'll keep posting the link because I know you wouldn't see it if you just joined. But what we're doing right now is walking through the process to register for the event in Hopin, which is the platform that the career fair is being hosted on this year. And it's a really easy and simple process. But again, just click on that link and follow the steps to register. So once you've clicked that continue button, it will ask you to register for the event. So you may need to click the register button and it will thank you for registering. And typically immediately after this, it allows you to start to see the event. Now, what I'm going to do is just refresh, because I want us to actually see what the preview is for the event. And you won't be able to see all of this because because you actually, don't have access to the event as yet. The event hasn't started. But there is a countdown that pretty much allows you to, come in, and it allows you to sometimes create a profile and so forth. So I want to show you all of those features today, so that on the morning when you enter, you know exactly what's available to you and what you can do. And we'll actually allow the system to send you an email early, asking you to come in, create your profile, maybe post some comments in here so other persons can start to get hyped up for the career fair and all of that. I'll show you all of that in just a second. But let me just stop first before we jump into this. Let me just check, is there anyone who has any questions? I see some comments here. So Corey's asking, if I'm in my final year seeking an internship, which one should you click, final year or internship? I would say if you're seeking an internship and not full-time employment, select internship student. Well, actually, it looks like Matthew says final year. So, okay, correction on that, select final year. Regardless, if you're a final year, regardless of whether you're seeking full-time employment or an internship, apparently you should select final year. All right, so that's a correction I got. Sashali says, when you enter your password, it's saying the password is invalid. There are two options here, Sashali. One, it could be that maybe the password is actually a little different from what you remember, and you may need to reset your password. The other option is that sometimes persons choose to sign up or sign in with a social media account. So it could be your Facebook account, LinkedIn account, or maybe a Gmail account, in which case you didn't really set a password, So if you know that you do that sometimes, for convenience, maybe if they offered you the option to sign in with Gmail or sign in with Facebook, you would have selected that option. Maybe try that instead to see if it allows you to sign in with that. If not, try the forgot password link and just reset your password, because likely it is that you've forgotten. Maybe it's a little different from what you thought it was and you need to reset your password. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just pull up the forgot password page, because maybe some of us need to revisit that and see what that looks like. So let me see if I can go back. Maybe I'll sign out of here, because I want to show you what the forgot password page looks like, just in case anyone has any challenges with that. Right, so typically when you get to the sign-in page, it will ask you to either sign in with Facebook, with Google, with LinkedIn, if that's what you chose to do initially. 1 second, Rochelle, I'll be right with you. Or you can enter the email address that you use to sign in. So I'm going to enter an email address, and I'm going to press continue. And directly under the sign in option where it asks you for your password, there is a forgot your password option. You can click that, enter the email address that you recall using, and ask it to send instructions. If you do this and it has not sent you instructions, meaning you check your email and you check your spam and there's nothing there, there's a high chance that what you had actually done when you signed up was that you selected one of these options in order to sign in with one of these accounts, and that does not require you to create a password. We see this all the time. Persons remember that their Hopin account is associated with a particular Gmail email address, and they're trying passwords that they would have used, that they're likely to have used, and it doesn't work. They aren't able to get a forgot password email, and it's because they had actually logged in using their Gmail account. They actually did not set a password for Hopin. And this can happen with any software. If you use your Google login or your Facebook login with another software, they can't reset your password for you. So just bear that in mind. Just try that if it's not working out for you. All right, let's just make sure that I haven't missed any other comments. I don't think so. So we'll go ahead to viewing the inside, but I know that the inside of the platform, but I know somebody had raised their hand earlier. So let's just check on that.
Yes, Rochelle.
Okay, right, Miss Blissett, was your question answered? If not, go right ahead.
Okay, so when I click the link for Hopin, it took me to the page that you said we have students, first year internship and all of that. I clicked on first, second and third year students, and then it took me to a page where I had to enter my email address and my name. And then I got something in my email that tells me to, that I got into the event that's due March 9. What's the next step? Because I keep bouncing out of the
right, but that's it. So you're registered now. That's it. You're registered. It's so easy. Exactly. So wait, why you want it to be difficult? No, that's it. You're done. On the screen, because you had gone back to your email, but on the screen in front of you, you should have seen a page that told you that you had successfully registered, and then that's it. Because the event hasn't started, there are a couple of things I'm going to show you that you don't have access to yet, but you will have access to it about a week ahead, I think is when we set. It's going to send you an email and give you the option to sign in and add a picture and, start to leave comments so that you can encourage persons to, participate, to chat amongst yourselves until the event actually starts. But when the event starts on March 9th, you'll have access to the entire platform, right? But yeah, that's it. You're done. But like I said, don't leave yet because I want to show you some more things. So the email was to add the event to your calendar. Yes, Shanoy. So that's one of the things that you can do, because we don't want you to register and then forget. We want you to get a reminder about the event so that you log in on time and you benefit. There are two things that are going to happen. You could do this now where you add it to your calendar, but also Hopin is going to automatically send you reminders leading up. So like I said, about 1 week before the event starts, you're going to get an email, and that will allow you to do additional things like upload a profile picture, add some of the text and options that I'm going to show you now, start chatting with other registered attendees. And then you'll get a reminder 2 days before, 1 day before, and about 1 hour before the start of the event on the day. All right. All right, so thank you for that comment and question. All right, so we're gonna go back to what the event looks like on the inside. Now, of course, my account is a bit special, so that's why I can show you all of this now, but you're gonna have access to a lot of it later. So I want you to just now pay attention so that you see everything that's happening, all right? So the first thing is, let me just refresh this page so you see it. And from what I'm seeing right now, we only have about 17 persons who have completed, like fully registered, and we're seeing them in. So I know some persons are still working through it. Please, if you have any, questions, if it's not working for you, just if you're shy, drop a message in the chat. If you're not shy, just go ahead and raise your hand or unmute and let us know so we can help you, okay? But I see quite a few persons have successfully registered and they're in. So awesome. We see Donovan, we see Jamali, we see Jessian, we see Kylia. I don't want to mispronounce anybody's name, so I'm going to stop right there. But all of you are in, which is excellent. Now, leading up, when we send you that email and it says you have early access to the event, right? It's going to tell you you can do things like create your profile and all of that. When you click on the link in that email and it takes you in, you're going to see this event countdown. It's going to say event starting in X weeks and X days, and it's going to allow you to create your profile. If you used Hopin last year, you probably already have a picture, etc. up, but if you have never used Hopin, or if you didn't use this feature last year, then you're going to have access to it now. And I keep seeing messages popping up, so my apologies if I keep opening it on the screen, because I just don't want to miss any questions. But yes, so this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this countdown telling you how much longer before the event, but you're also going to see this link that tells you that in the meantime, you can create your profile. Now, creating your profile means you can add a picture. Now, I, represent a company, so I use a logo, but you can use like your LinkedIn picture, a nice picture that shows companies, what you look like in a suit. I'm joking. It doesn't have to be a formal picture, but it, just a picture. So it allows or encourages engagement. People can see who you are. This is a virtual platform. It really helps when we can see people, and we can identify people. So upload a picture if you want. In rare circumstances, I've seen people upload graphics because maybe that's representative of them, but for the most part, people just use a profile picture, or if it's a company, they'll use a logo. Put your first name and your last name. And all of this is optional, but you can, your first name and last name will autofill, my apologies, because you would have put it in the registration already. But the optional things are to add a Twitter, LinkedIn, website link, again, entirely up to you. Now, this is the one that I think you guys should really take advantage of. This thing that's called a headline. Now, I don't know if there's anyone who's familiar with what a headline is and what it's used for. But typically a headline is something very descriptive. For example, on LinkedIn, we use a headline to tell people like what our skill is or what we want to be known for. Some people use it for their job title. Now, I'm encouraging you to use this perhaps for the careers that you're interested in, or the roles that you're interested in, or the topics. Maybe you don't know the exact job title, but maybe you know that your area of interest is in, I don't know, aerodynamics, just something random, popping up here. But, use this headline, I think, for keywords that allow people to learn more about what your interests are. Not only would it be a great opportunity for companies to maybe, find persons who have interests aligned with what they're looking for outside of the scheduled interviews that they have, but also you can connect with other students and other persons for networking. And that's very important. I don't know if you are familiar with the concept of social capital, but you're making connections, and your ability to leverage connections over the span of your career is extremely important. And that's not just the people who are in high places and in management and in HR, but we're talking about the connections you make at university, and those people who go on to then be managers and HR, who remember that, you were at UTech and you connected at the UTech fair. Those are the best connections. In Jamaica, we talk about it's who you know. That's how you get to be in the know, by connecting with those people and building relationships over time that can then bring you value. So again, it's sometimes connecting on mutual interest is good among students, but also it allows companies to see what you're really there for. So, that's my comment on that. I encourage you to use it. Again, just checking to make sure that there are no comments, and I'll post I think Matthew is posting the Hopin registration link, so I don't need to post it for the persons who just joined. All right, so once you've entered that information, you can go ahead and click save, and that will be saved there. Your picture will always be visible in the top right-hand corner. So for example, if any of you online right now wanted to save a picture, well, you can't do it now, but on the when you're prompted to do so, you could save it, and we would be able to see your picture here along with your name. So that's one thing. The next thing you can do early is start chatting, and I encourage you to start hyping each other up. Start posting, what you're looking forward to. If there's a specific company that you're looking forward to connecting with, or a specific topic you're, hoping that career department will talk about or do a presentation about, maybe interviewing skills or something, ensure that you post those things there. They can get that valuable feedback. And of course, leading up to the event, hopefully that will help them curate a much more valuable program for you for the day. So start chatting once you have the option to do so and you get in. All right, so we just have about 15 minutes. Well, we have a few minutes left in my presentation. And what I'm going to focus on for the next set or the next part is what it will look like on the day. All right. Before I do that though, I only see 28 persons in. So I want to check and see, is there anyone who is having difficulty registering? Don't be shy, post a message, unmute and let us know. Let's pause here and allow some time for the persons who have not yet completed registration because the numbers are still looking a little low. Hi, Martina. Okay, so I see that you're in, Martina, and you can actually start chatting and posting. Can you upload your profile picture yet? Not, I know that not everyone was able to probably get in and do that. So we had enabled it on the back end, but I wasn't sure if it was active. So if you are in, go ahead and try that. And if you are not in, but maybe you registered, go to the email that you got, click on the link, see if you can come back and see if it will allow you to do your profile now. That would be awesome, actually. And if you can post a message in the chat so that we can all see that you're in, that would be amazing. I didn't think that it would activate until about a week ahead, but I see that some persons are able to do it now, which is amazing. Awesome. I see Brittany and some more persons who are in. But again, I'm not hearing any response. It looks like everybody's in. Khadijah sent a message asking if I can see you. Let's see, Khadijah. Nice. Let me spell your last name. Yes, Khadijah, we see that you are in. Perfect. Excellent. So you did everything that you needed to do. Again, if you were not able to get into where you see the countdown, and where you see the chat area to start chatting. And again, where you see that create your profile link, just go to the email that it sent you, click on that and come right back. And I see that we have more and more persons coming in, which is excellent, excellent. All right, so I don't hear any questions, but I know there must be at least one person. I mean, was it that easy? Not even one person has a challenge? I don't want to call people out, but, you know, I really want to make sure that everyone is able to get in seamlessly, no issues. You know, Rochelle, since you had asked a question earlier, let me just confirm, Rochelle, are you in? Yes, Rochelle, I see that you're in.
I'm trying to find the part with the chat.
Right, so go back to that email that it sent you with the link. If you've closed the page, that is. Sometimes when you're able to refresh, or you could just come back here, and when you click register, it should recognize that you're already registered for the event, and it should allow you to continue in. But if not, so yeah, it should allow you to click join event and then take you in. But if not, if you've closed that page out, just go back to the email that it sent you after you registered, click the link there and it will take you back to this page. All right. So for those who registered, if you were not able to, or you didn't see how to get in before, because again, the event isn't live, just click on register again. Once you're logged in, it will recognize that you have registered already. Just click the join event button and it should take you in to this space where, again, you can create your profile, and I see some persons doing that now. I see Corey has added his picture, and you can start chatting with the other persons here. And I see that we're up to 41 now. So we're close to 50%, which is excellent, or we're above 50% rather, which is excellent. But that means that there's still a lot of persons who aren't in. So again, let me know, are you having challenges? What's going on?
Ms. Tate, can you check to see if a Rosemary is there? She directly messaged me asking if she's in.
Sure. Hopefully we only have one Rosemary. Rosemary Ireland? Is that the Rosemary?
Lemard.
Sorry?
Lemard.
Lemard.
Oh, Lemard. Okay, no, I'm not seeing you as yet. Not seeing you here as yet. So Rosemary, let's walk you through it. Let's make sure that you completed all the steps, okay? All right, so first thing, when you clicked on that page and clicked to register, just walk us through what you're seeing now.
All right, when I click that, that is the opt-in registration link.
Right. When you click the Hopin registration link in the chat, so that's the very last link that's in the chat now.
All right, I'm seeing register.
Right. You click register.
Says it's loading,
Okay, perfect. No problem.
and it says
You-
continue.
Okay, but before you, on the right side, it says continue, but on the left side, make sure that you selected the right ticket option, right? So are you a 4th year student, 2nd year, 3rd year staff? What is it?
Second.
Second, right. So
But-
make sure that you select 2nd and 3rd year, right? As the entry option. And then you, on the right-hand side, you can click continue.
What happened? I already clicked continued. So how do I get back?
Okay, so it has registered you probably as a 4th year, but I don't know if that's super important, Matthew, but what you can do is you could click out of it and go back, make sure that you select the right option and then click continue. And then the next thing it's going to do is going to ask you for your first name, last name, and an email address. Just to be clear, you've never used Hopin before, right?
No.
All right, perfect, right. So the next step, again, it's going to ask you for your first name, last name, and your email address. And then all you need to do is to do that, and then you click continue and then register. All right, so let us know when you have completed those steps.
Miss, one question before you move on.
It is saying to me, intern students, 2nd and 3rd year students. This is students who are seeking internship. What do I?
What applies to you? I'll respond to you shortly, Alicia. But what is it that you? Sorry, are you 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th graduate? What are you?
Second.
You're 2nd, and you are seeking an internship or no?
No, isn't this something to do with employment?
So so full-time employment. Typically the persons that are scheduled for interviews, correct me if I'm wrong, Matthew, for full-time employment are 4th year and graduate students. I don't know that if you're a 2nd year student, I think you should still select 2nd year student based on the response that was given to someone else earlier. But Matthew, just jump in and confirm for me.
Yes, that would be correct, Ms. Tate. So ideally, full-time employment is more directed to the final year students, finalizing students, and graduates. Everyone else would be considered non-final year. So that's why we have 2 different registrations in terms of the Google Forms that we have sent out.
Okay. And so even if she, can she be scheduled for interviews as a 2nd year, for full-time employment as a 2nd year, Matthew? I think that's another part of probably her query.
Okay. Generally speaking, I'll say yes, because we don't know what the intentions of companies are. So more than likely, interviews would be or should be open to all students who are participating at the fair.
Okay, perfect. All right. So don't worry too much about the internship / full-time. Just focus on whether you are a 1st, 2nd year, 3rd, 4th graduate and select the appropriate option. I hope everyone is clear on that now. All right. So Alicia, it may be, if you can unmute, that would be awesome, because I think it'd be easier for us to talk through this. But you said that you're getting an error message. You can't assign a ticket to this email. And I'm trying to figure out exactly which part of the process you're at. Is it immediately after you click register and the ticket types come up and you're getting that error message? Respond in the chat or unmute preferably if you can, and we can talk through it just to make sure you're okay. And while I'm waiting on that response from Alicia, I noticed that Rochelle, you're in, great. So I'm glad that you were able to get in. Michaela, yes, we are live. To Jay and everyone else as well, note that once you're in, there is the people tab. That tab allows you to snoop. I'm joking, it's not about snooping, but it allows you to see who is registered and who is in the event. So you can see who's registered by clicking on the people tab and searching for the name of the person, or you can just scroll down the list and you can see who's actually live and active in the event, because you'll see a little green circle beside them that shows you that they're live. So for example, I'm not seeing that you're in the event right now, but you are registered today. So if you would like to join the 49 people, persons who are actually in now and they're participating in the chat and they're able to see who else is in the event, then go either to the email that you received after registering, or if you're still on the page, just go back to that register page, hit register again, and it will recognize you're registered and allow you to join the event. All right. That's if you want to join us on the inside. And for anyone else who wants to just confirm that they're in the right place, if you are on this page that I'm showing on my Zoom screen and you see the chat area and you see the people tab, you are in the right place. So there's nothing to check. But if you need to check for a friend and you want to help a friend confirm whether or not they're fully registered, just click on the people tab, use the search bar to search for their name. And that way you can check and see if they're registered. Now, I'll reiterate this because I notice we keep having persons come and go, and I don't know if there is anyone that missed this because I'm not seeing a whole lot of pictures, and I thought everyone would be excited to upload their pictures. So I'll just reiterate this. Once you're in, if you can see the page that I'm showing on Zoom and it has the chat area on the right and it has the people tab on the right, you should also be seeing the option to create your profile. It's a link that says create your profile. Click on that, and that is where it allows you to upload a picture under the avatar section. And it also allows you to add, a headline. I recommend adding keywords that allow companies and other persons to know what your interests are, career interests, etc. And you can use it that way. So just, for those who may have missed that message about adding or updating their profile and showing their picture and all of that, just to remind you that that's the option there. No, I see that there were some comments that came in. So let me just make sure I don't miss anything. Shanoy is asking, can we at least get a heads up of the companies that we should be expecting for the event or not yet? And this I will hand over to Matthew. Matthew, are you there? Maybe Matthew has stepped away. Shanoy, you will be able to know ahead of the day because two things will happen. Number one, the event page itself. Remember, I told you at the very beginning that some of that information in terms of the agenda and the booths is not fully up to date yet, but it will be updated before the event. So maybe check it maybe like a week or maybe a few days before the event. You'll be able to look on that page, and let me see if I can just scroll down for those who are looking in Zoom. You'll be able to see booths for the various companies that will be participating. Now, again, don't depend on what you're seeing here because it may change, but definitely a few days before the event, hopefully at least a week before, then you'll be able to see all the companies participating because you'll see their logos and their banners there. Okay, awesome, Melissa. I'm glad that you got in. Rosemary, let me check for you again. And Shanoy, I'm glad I answered your question. But Matthew, I think you were going to say something. Was that you a while ago, Matthew? Matthew, if you're speaking, then we're not hearing you.
No, I wasn't speaking.
Okay, so will they know in any other fashion outside of what I just said, which companies will be participating ahead of the event?
Well, it's hard to say before the fair because although companies will register, some of those same companies that register may, God forbid, pull out or decide not to come to the fair again. So it's really hard to say beforehand or before the fair which companies will be coming.
It's hard to guarantee, is what he's saying. But yeah, but hopefully everyone that registers, will actually participate. And likewise with you all, we hope that all of you that register today will actually show up and participate. So now that we've gotten over, I don't see any more questions from both persons trying to confirm if they've registered or having any issues registering. So what I'm going to do is move on to the very last thing that I need to show you, which is what it's kind of going to look like on the day, or where you need to go, or what you need to do on the day. All right, so we'll focus on that. And for this persons may want to, if they are in Hopin right now, kind of enjoying themselves in the chat, what I would encourage is if you just look back over at Zoom, because you won't be able to see the changes in Hopin. You'll need to be looking at your screen in Zoom in order to see what I'm showing you. But I love the engagement. I love that everyone jumped in and kind of started like chatting and going away. I love it. And this is what we want you to do. But come back over to Zoom so that I can show you just one last time, one last thing rather, before we close out the session. All right, so if we're all looking at Zoom and you're seeing my screen, then you would be able, I'm going to show you a preview. Again, this is something that I have access to, but you won't have access to until the event has started. But the first thing is I want to share with you this initial area. It may be edited a little bit, but for the most part, it's the same. It's going to give you a little bit of instruction because some of you, if you've never used Hopin before, there's some people who, prefer reading instructions and there are other people who are more visual. So some of you will jump in and you can see that this says the stage, and when the event starts, it will actually have a red icon on it that says live. And intuitively, some persons will be like, okay, I know that's where I need to go. So for those visual persons, you will see the area of the event that's active light up, and that will tell you where you need to go, right? So for those who are visual, for those who prefer reading and need those descriptive cues, then you can look at the description here. It will tell you a little bit about how to use each area of the platform. And also when the event is live, at the very top, it will have a space that says happening now and give you the option to click there to take you to wherever in the event you have something happening right now. So if you're a visual person, you'll probably identify the icon when it's live and it's lit up. And for those who need that extra help, you can look over in this main section for something that says happening now that highlights what you need to focus on now. Or you can also read the descriptions that are here that kind of gives you a guide as to how to use the platform. All right. On the day we'll have, on the first day, which is a Wednesday, we're going to have the opening ceremony, which is a very important part. So we want you to come out early and enjoy the entire event, right? The opening ceremony will be happening on stage. This is where you're going to have some key presentations, some of the people who are instrumental in ensuring that this happens, and who also have maybe some information to share about what's happening, what the career department has coming up for you, what's happening at UTech, some valuable information that will be shared on the stage area in the opening ceremony. So make sure not to miss it. And then you're going to be able to jump into the sessions area on the other 2 days or subsequent to the opening ceremony, because we're going to have some sessions that are focused on career topics, right? So sometimes we'll be having workshops, for example, that talk about, maybe interviewing skills, give you a rundown of how to prepare yourself or, different things. And so different topics that the career department will bring in experts to share information with you about, and those things will happen in the sessions area. Again, whichever area, let's say you come in late and you don't know where to go, you can either know to look on this left-hand side, look for the icon that's lit up. That's the one that is active right now. And secondly, you can look in this reception area at the very top. It's always going to have something that says happening now, and then it will have the link for you to go to the room where the activity is happening at that time. Okay, so it's easy, hopefully, for you to kind of follow along whether you arrive late or not. And let me just check in for some questions. Are these recorded sessions available somewhere? Matthew, you're recording, I believe, right?
Yes, I responded to that question immediately after.
Oh, okay, sorry. It will be posted on the unit's YouTube page. Okay. Oh, wow, and I'm on camera. Wow. Matthew, you couldn't give me a heads up. All right, so I'm teasing. All right, so the next thing is if you have interviews, right? If you have interviews, likely these will be done in the expo area. So if you were here last year, You would have known these were done in breakout rooms in the sessions area, but this year we're gonna likely do them in the expo area. And when you enter expo, I'm just gonna pull up an example here. Let's use a UTech example. And this would have been probably an old video that they had, so maybe that's why a video that is no longer available on their YouTube, so that's why you're not seeing it. But essentially, whatever content UTech has or the company has for you to interact with is going to show here, whether it's a video or a Google slide or whatever it is that they have here, that's going to show here. And essentially, you'll also be able to scroll to see any other information. Some companies, let me see if I can find one that's active. Some companies have videos. So yeah, again, some of these are old, maybe videos that were removed. Again, will be updated for the actual companies that are participating this year. We're just using the demo from what happened last year. So that's why some of these links may not be active anymore. But essentially, when you're in there, you'll be able to interact with whatever content they have provided, be it a video, Google slide, images, etc., text, links. And some of these may be related to jobs or vacancies that they have now. Some of these may be related to maybe the organization and its culture and the type of persons that they're looking for, like the qualities that they're looking for, things that you can do to prepare yourself, to be have a good chance of applying and being successful. So it's really important to pay attention to the information that each company provides in the expo area. Additionally, they will have links. So it could be their social media links, it could be their career page, it could be a special link that they've created for this event, maybe to accept or to gather interest from persons who want to work with them. So just pay attention to what's provided. This is also where interviews will happen. So if an interview is scheduled to happen, there will be a button that allows the person to go to enter a live session. Or if the company has already turned that on, when you enter the booth, you'll see the company representative there waiting for you. And so what I want to do is actually just go to an example, see if I can go to an example and show you what it's like to share video and audio in a room. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. And this applies if you're doing an interview. And like I said, if your interview is the first for the day and maybe you're the first person to arrive, this is what you will see. It says, welcome to the session. It will ask you to share your audio and video by clicking a blue button, which is what you will do. Or if the person is there already, then the share audio and video button is still going to be blue. It's still going to be there, but it's going to be in the top right-hand corner of the screen. So in either case, look for a blue button that says share audio and video. All right. And for you to share audio and video, you may need to confirm settings. Now, I am using video in Zoom. Let me see if I can turn that off and if it will now allow me to share my video in Hopin. Give me 1 second. All right, perfect. All right, so it will allow me to share my video settings. For those of you who are using like fancy setups, you have a special mic and you want to select the mic that you want to use, or you have a webcam and you need to select the camera, then this allows you to do all of that. If you're just using a regular device, everything is preset usually, and you don't need to change anything. All you need to do is click the button that says apply. So I'm going to reiterate that again, just because we had to pause, and also because I want to just show you how seamless it is. So when you enter the interview room, if the person is not there before you, you're going to see the share audio video button. It's a nice big blue button in the center of the screen. If the person is already there and you're looking at them, they're waiting on you to join, you will see the blue button to the top right of the screen, and it will still say share audio and video. So it's not going to change, just the location is going to change. When you click on that, most persons just need to click apply. If in the rare circumstance you have like some really fancy setup and you want to select which mic you use and which camera you use, this is where you do that. but otherwise everyone would just click apply. And when they click apply, they would see themselves on the screen, and they would also see the option to turn on or turn off their video, to share their screen, etc. But usually in the interview, for the most part, the only thing that you're going to do is you're going to, click apply and just be there and stay there, because you're going to more than likely want to be doing the interview on video. The company is going to want to hear you, you want to hear them. So you're probably not going to change any of those settings. There is one option here for closed captions, and this is beneficial if you have someone who may be hard of hearing and they need to read captions or would like to read captions to help them with understanding what the other person is saying. They can click this to turn on closed captions. So that's an option that you can do. It really can help with accessibility for persons who may be deaf or hard of hearing. I don't know if we have any persons with that situation who will be attending the fair, but if you are a friend, share that. Don't, let them know they can attend the fair and still benefit from the fair if they need to. Don't let that stop them from coming out, because we have options that can help them. All right. So once you are there, you will start to have a conversation with the interviewer. They will likely start it off and they'll kind of give you some guidance as to how things will go. Maybe they'll have questions, and it could be more than one person as well. It might be a panel. And so they will take you through how the interview will go. And each company may be a little different in terms of, how they decide to do the interview. The key thing is that, these interviews are meant to be screening. And please know that I'm sure UTech would have told you there's no guarantee of employment or anything, but the key is you want to maximize the opportunity that you have in front of the company to really showcase your value, really showcase what you bring. I know sometimes in these interviews for the career fair, it's not with a specific position in mind. So it's kind of hard sometimes to know, okay, how do I really show them that, I can be a good fit? I don't know what job they're interviewing for, but you can ask those questions. What are the opportunities that are available if it is that you weren't told before what the role was? If you know what the role is, then, do your best to prepare properly, right? So you don't go in there, without having some information. So there are I see two questions here. So one is, from Brandon. Is there somewhere we can put our resume? Yes, Brandon, I'll show you that shortly. And Shanoy, workshops will be notified in advance also, meaning what workshops will be taking place. Yes, Shanoy, that will be on the agenda. So you can just keep checking the agenda. I would say, wait until a week ahead of the event. Things will be finalized by then. On that same event page, under the schedule area, it will tell you exactly what the name of the workshop is and likely who is presenting as well. So if a company is sending a representative, then that would be there. Now, Brandon, you have to kind of be innovative with this, but it's definitely something that you can do. Now, you remember that when we went to create our profile, let me see if I can open it up from here. You had an option to have a LinkedIn page, number one. You also had an option to put a website link or personal website. So if you want to really stand out and you want to be really special, number one, I would maximize this area. But maybe you can have a PDF, a link to a PDF here. Or if you have a website that's like your online profile, you can put your link there. But a PDF document you could do there. Now, what I will say is that most companies, if they're interested in your resume, they'll probably ask you for it so you could send it. But I think that's a brilliant way for you to actually, kind of stand out and allow them to, say, you could say to them, actually more information about my credentials are available here in Hopin. And let me show you how you would show them, Brandon. So what you would do is tell them to go to the people tab. And when we train the companies, we train them on how to use all these features, right? But typically, if you go to the people tab, let me see if, yes, there's somebody here. So Brandon, I see that you added a bunch of stuff here. Let's say you had added a website link here. You could tell them that your website link is a copy of your resume, or you could tell them that your LinkedIn profile has been linked, so they know they can go and see your full career profile. By the way, this is a kind of side point. One of the biggest gaps that we have here in the Caribbean. We have a ton of persons who sign up for LinkedIn and they do not fully complete their profiles. So they have old information, or they have, you know, just a picture and nothing. You are, trust me, you are missing out if you're not fully utilizing LinkedIn. So Brandon, you may not need a separate resume. You may just need to have your LinkedIn profile fully clicked out, fully filled out. Let them know that it's linked, and they can just click on you in the people tab to directly access your LinkedIn profile. Or if you want to link a copy of your resume, since you're a developer, I know you know how to do these things easily. There must be a free page or something that you can do, or maybe even a Google Drive link or something that you can add so that they can access a copy of your resume. But that would be my way about getting around it. Sometimes we have to be a little quick-witted, you know, learn how to use these things. And if you don't know how to, maybe ask a friend and see if they can help you. So Brandon is asking, do they normally tell us the list of jobs before, or show us, not tell us, the list of jobs before? Now, Matthew, maybe you can weigh in on this. Are they applying, or are they interviewing for specific jobs on the day, or are these general interviews?
Well, I will safely say that it's general interviews on one hand, but also we don't know what the companies themselves will be doing. So some companies may be interviewing for positions that they want to fill. Really, truly, it's just, let's just safely say it's up to the companies to decide what they are interviewing for. Because as he indicated before, some companies will be screening, some may actually have jobs at that point where they're saying, okay, let's just interview some persons and hopefully we find somebody. Outside of that, it's just hard to determine.
Okay, and so I think one of the things, and Rosemary, yes, I'm seeing you now, so perfect, you're registered, happy for that. And I want to say, Mark, I see your question and I'm going to address that now. But one of the things, Brandon, is, again, remember that this is a conversation. Interviewers and companies want confident people, so you're gonna you're gonna be respectful, but you don't have to be too shy, right? So feel free to ask them, you know, are there specific skill sets that they are looking for right now and that they're interested in right now? And likely the fact that you are matched with them means that they have some interest in your skill sets, but you could ask them if there are specific roles that they're looking to fill. You could ask them if, and maybe when you know, so for example, 1 week ahead of the event, right? This applies to everybody. A week ahead of the event, you look on the page, you see that, okay, these companies are doing interviews, I'm interested in these companies. Or you see that you are assigned to interview with a specific company, go look up their careers page, right? Look up their careers page online, see if they're actively interviewing for any jobs, and bring that up in the session. You know, say to them, you know, I noticed that you have applications open for this position. Are you still actively applying? You know, I don't know if you saw my profile before, but you know, I'm skilled in XYZ, and that's one of the areas I really have an interest in. You know, take charge of the conversation a little bit, because you have to use like I said, maximize the opportunity to showcase your skill set and your interests, because we can't leave it up to them to you know, just, you know, have the full flow, right? So that would be my advice on that. You know, do some research before you show up, especially if you know who you're interviewing with ahead of time, which you should. Even if you don't know what jobs they have specifically, use the information that you have and just ask, you know. Okay, so Mark, I think sometimes what happens when persons try to paste a link and it doesn't work is sometimes it's because they're trying to paste the entire link. What it wants you to do is just post the linkedin.com/in/your username. Don't post all of the like HTTP, etc. Edit it and try that. Let me know if you're still having a problem, okay? And hopefully that would help though. I know we had some more comments that came in. Oh, Mark got it to work perfect. If anybody else is having trouble with it, try that. Michaela said, are these for jobs in Kingston and St. Andrew area only? I would say, all right, my apologies for that error. That echo, not sure why we're having an echo, but hopefully it doesn't come back. So Michaela, my response to that would be, I don't think it's limited Kingston and St. Andrew at all. Matthew can say definitively, but remember, a lot of these companies have employees, especially depending on the type of the company, they have employees in different parishes. So more than likely the representative that's coming here, even if they're from the Kingston branch, that doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities in other parishes or that the connection cannot be helpful to you, when looking for opportunities in other parishes. So that's what I would say about that. But Matthew, jump in if you have something more specific to respond.
Okay, to address this question, and even more similar, there was another similar question about jobs. The thing is, companies will not let my office know what their intentions are. So pretty much you just have to wait until the day of the fair. And once you're in front of the company, then as Ms. Tate has been saying, you engage the company in conversation to determine where the company's headspace is and how you as a prospective applicant can fit into what the company is looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that definitely, Michaela, I hope that answer helped you. I think the key thing is, if you know what company you're interviewing with and you know that they have employees in different parishes, then maybe you can be proactive about indicating, where your interest is in terms of specific parishes and asking about opportunities. But hopefully you would also have done your own research to see if their career page and the obvious places at least list opportunities in those areas that you can proactively bring up and discuss. Again, the key here, guys, and this is not the purpose of today's presentation, so my apologies, but I hope it's helpful. The key here is every interaction that you have is helping you to potentially build social capital that can be useful in the future. So if you connect with this interviewer, but all their opportunities are in Kingston, but you're not in Kingston, that does not mean that's the end of it. If they really like you, they could probably connect you with the HR coordinator that's based in Mobi. I'm just throwing out some, random places here. Mobi, or maybe, HR is a really close-knit community. So maybe they know the HR managers for some other companies based in Mobe, and you come to mind because they thought you were able to hold a conversation and they really thought you were intelligent and a great fit for something, and then they say to that person, hey, let me connect you with Michaela because she really stood out to me in this interview, and although we didn't have positions in Mobe, I think she could be a good person to talk to. So, again, just think of this entire experience as helping you to build social capital, helping you to make connections, helping you to learn. And, we never know how these things can kind of have benefits down the road. So that's what I would say about that. Now, let me just say one more thing. And let's just close out the interview experience. You're going to connect with the interviewer. You're going to have conversations back and forth. There is a limited time slot that is allowed for the interviews. So you want to maximize that time. Now, when you're leaving or how to leave is by clicking this button that says leave on the right-hand side. So click that leave button. And what it will do is it will remove you from the screen. The interviewer may still be there because they may have other people to interview, but it will remove you from the screen so you can hear the interviewer, but the interviewer can no longer see or hear you. And then you would just leave and come back to, if it's a room, maybe the breakout rooms, or if it's a stage area, wherever it is that activity is going on in the event. Again, you would see that part lit up, so you would know intuitively that that's where you need to be. Then that's where you go next. Okay, I will say something. We really do ask that you don't follow the schedule. Don't jump into areas unless you're supposed to be there at times that you're supposed to be there. Let's be respectful of the agenda that's been set and the time that has been allotted for different things, and allow, just as you want persons to allow you to get your full time, speaking with interviewers or listening to sessions and workshops. Similarly, kind of don't intrude on other person's time as well. There's a full agenda packed with resources and things to keep us occupied, but also, to benefit from. So, there's enough that you can do. So please go ahead and do that, but don't interrupt others. And definitely in response to Chevelle here, you can use your phone, you can use your iPad, you can use whatever device you have to access the platform and to do several things on the day. However, if you have an interview scheduled, unless you are able to have a stable location where your phone can be placed, I recommend try to get access to a laptop or a desktop or an iPad that can have a stable, can be, you know, in a stable place, versus you may be holding up your camera, camera phone, which may be a bit more unsteady if you're doing an interview. Now, if you have a phone and maybe it has one of those stands, so you can lean it up and it's steady and you can, you know, the interviewer can see you clearly, you can see them clearly, there's no distraction, then I'm sure that will not be an issue at all. But if you have an interview, just bear those things in mind, because optics sometimes, you know, play into how we are perceived, and we want to really leave a great impression and make full use of the opportunity. So that's my recommendation there. And while I'm on that topic, again, we're going off the track of the technology here, but my other recommendation would be, you know, try and have a background that's not distracting. If you're going to do your interviews, you don't need to leave your house. You don't need to pretty up and fancy up. Nobody expects you to look like you're in the Four Seasons or like you're in the top floor of the Atrium NCB. But if you can have a background that's not too distracting, like a lot of persons not moving up and down in your background, maybe not a lot of noise in your background. People expect things like the occasional dog barking and so forth. So nobody's going to care too much about that. But we're talking about consistent noise that disrupts and interrupts you, so that the interviewer can't properly really focus on you and give you the attention that you deserve, and you give them the attention that they deserve. All right, so bear that in mind when you're selecting where you're going to be to access the day. And on that note as well, this platform is really optimized for virtual, which means that it's, you know, you don't need a big, you know, a high internet plan to use it. However, if you have a wired connection, it's always better than wireless. If you have wireless, it's usually going to be better than your phone's data plan in terms of ensuring that you hear everything and that you have a stable connection and you're not hearing gaps in the audio and the people can hear you clearly and things like that. So again, if you have the option to go somewhere with Wi-Fi, I'd recommend that. If you have the option to have a plug-in Ethernet connection, that would be the ultimate best option. But if not, and you have to use your data, that's okay. But just bear in mind that sometimes with data, you don't get as stable as, you know, stable quality audio and video as you could with other types of connections. All right. So Matthew, I think I have 2 more things to say and then that's it. So I'm just prepping you in case there's anything else you need to do after I'm finished. But the last thing I will say is that after the day has ended, so the activities end at a certain time every day, the booths, meaning the information that companies have left up about themselves, will be accessible for 24 hours. So meaning 24/7. So at 10 o'clock at night, if you jump up and you remember, oh, I didn't get to look at Scotiabank's booth and I want to go back in and look at it, you can actually go into Hopin and you can look at their booth, no problem, right? So again, you have, my apologies for the noise in the background, you have access to the booths for 24/7. You can access them at any time. So you don't have to stress about visiting every single booth while other people are in there or whatever the situation is. The other thing is for the opening ceremony, which is happening on the stage, if you miss it, you will be able to watch the replay by clicking replay here. And it will be accessible to you while the event is going on. So if you can only attend Friday and you want to see what happened in the opening ceremony, then you can click replay and watch that. You would probably miss some of the other recordings because I'm not sure if the workshops will be there and be able to be replayed, but I'm sure UTech will have those probably on their your YouTube page or something for viewing at another time. All right. All right, so Matthew, that's it for me. I'm going to hand over to you and you can, close out, or we can have some questions if needed.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Tate, for your very informative and eye-opening presentation. So students, there you have it. That's how you'll register on Hopin to attend the job fair. Which reminds me, I need to go and find the Google links that you students need to register as well. So as I said at the beginning of the session, there are 2 Google links, one for final year students and one for non-final year students. So once you identify the category that you belong to, you will sign up the appropriate Google form. And of course, the information about Hopin has been circulated. And if needs be, once you have signed today's register, it will also be emailed to you as well. And I will also post in the chat the Career Placement Unit's Instagram. We invite you to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is also part of the registration as well. And the information today about Hopin will be shared with you, of course, so that way you guys can have it. And the registration procedures, as mentioned before, will be emailed to you. So I'm just gonna go look for the job fair registration links and post them in the chat. In the interim, the session is still open until 4. So if there are any students here with any questions, you are free to go ahead with questions.
And if there's anyone who joined late who needs assistance with registering, then I'll ask you to just voice that no, so we could use some of that time as well to ensure that you're in the event. Well, Matthew, looks like everything was clear. No questions, nobody needs any help.
I think so. It really does look so.
Okay, hold on. We have a Chanel who said she joined a little late. So Chanel, clarify for me. You mean you joined after the registration and that's what you need help with, all right? So let me just do this. For everyone who joined late and who has not yet registered in Hopin for the event, link is just being shared now. In the chat area is the registration link. We'll want you to click on that. So there are 3 things. So one, Matthew needs you to, or career department needs you to complete a sign sheet or a register for this event. 2, you need to follow the instructions I'm going to give you to register in Hopin using the link that was just posted. And thirdly, there's an evaluation form, I think, for this session that has just been posted. And I hope everyone gives this a session an A+, because I hope it was great and valuable. All right. In any case, let's go back to Chanel now. Chanel, do you see the link that we posted? And while I'm waiting for Chanel's answer to come in, I see Miss Forrest asking, if you log out and want to sign in, how do you know your password? Well, I would hope that the password that you use is something that you can remember. Again, if you use a Google login or Facebook login, you don't need a password. You just need to click login with Facebook, login with Google, and then you would enter those credentials. But if you actually signed up with an email address and a password, it's the same password that you enter that if you're logged out of Hopin, you're going to need to re-enter. So I would hope you use something that is memorable. But if you don't remember it, remember all you need to do is put in your email address and use the forgot password option. And the forgot password option, it will send an email to your email address and give you instructions on how to change or reset your password. All right, so Ms. Forrest, I hope that helps you, but let me know if you need some additional clarity. There's a question from, Deidre is clarifying that the evaluation sheet is for the resume writing session. So Matthew, I don't know if that was the wrong evaluation sheet that was posted, but yeah. And Chanel, you said yes there. Does that mean that you are good now? You're going through registration, or you need any help? And let me see. Yeah, that was the last thing. Okay. So yeah, so Matthew, you can just post the correct evaluation sheet. And Chanel, you're going through the registration. Awesome. One thing I'll just reiterate for those who are doing it now for the first time, when you're going through the registration, you'll see 4th year and graduates, 2nd and 3rd year internship students. Just select the one that's most applicable to you. So if you're a 2nd and 3rd year student, no matter if you're looking for internship or full-time employment, select 2nd and 3rd year student. All right. And likewise for the other options. If none of them apply to you, then you can select internship student. And the form has been updated. So my understanding is the same link that was posted is going to be used, but it's the correct evaluation form now. So you can go ahead and submit those evaluations. And again, Ms. Forrest, just let me know if that answered your question accurately. All right, maybe we can have, okay, perfect. Maybe we can have persons, some construction is going on where I am, my apologies. Maybe we can have some persons comment on, what they're expecting, or, know that they've gone into the platform, what they, was it easy? Was it good? Let's get some feedback in the chat as well while persons are doing the evaluation and other persons are registering and so on. Let us know what you're looking forward to for the fair. Let us know, what you think about this entire experience that UTech is doing, which is a little different from the norm. I hope you guys view it as a positive experience, but maybe let's have some of that discussion while we're waiting on questions, or persons are thinking about what questions, if any, they want to ask. All right, so we have some feedback here from Rochelle. She said registration was very easy. Happy to hear that. I have a question here. Do you get jobs based on your study field? Okay, this is a question from Matthew.
Okay, well, generally speaking, and as it relates to the job fair, again, that is solely determined by the companies. So we really and truly can't determine or say beforehand if companies are applying for jobs or not. Sorry, interviewing for jobs or not.
Right, so it's not necessarily based on your study field, but it's based, there's some matching that does happen. I think the key thing is here, try and do some research beforehand so you know, okay, which companies, and maybe, all right, so let's say even on the day, right, the day one, because you have all the 3 days, right? So maybe day one, you take a look at who is participating. And day 2 now, you go and you do some, the end of day 1, you do some research online and you see maybe opportunities or people that you want to really connect with. And then you try and maximize those connections on day 2 and day 3. So maybe do it that way. Abigail says that she's really excited and nervous for the event. No need to be nervous, Abigail. No need to be nervous. Trust me. But I'm happy that you're excited for the event. And I see Rosemary. Go right ahead. Just unmute, Rosemary. Or post in the chat if you don't want to unmute, whichever. All right, not sure if Rosemary changed her mind. But in the interim, guys, remember, this is an opportunity to connect with the representatives from a lot of different companies. So just, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. No, you said I changed my mind. You answered the question. I was going to ask you, how do you know who will be there?
Ah, okay. So for those who came late, let me show you something again, because you would have missed this. There is the event page, which is the link that we provided. When you scroll down on that page, it will give you an idea based on when we're setting up the rooms, the different companies that will be participating. Now, don't follow what's there now because it's still being updated, all right? So don't take it as, you know, final, what you're seeing on there now, but you can use this information to gauge the companies that will be there. And also the schedule, because aside from interviews and booths that are set up with content for you to review, there'll also be an agenda, and different companies may have representatives assisting with workshops and so forth to help you. So you can look at those and see which companies are doing workshops as well. So those will help you to see the different options in terms of companies that are being represented. And of course, you would know as well if you have interviews with any specific organization. So I hope that information helps. But stay tuned, probably I would say a few days before the event. That will give you a better idea as to who is actually participating. All right, so Rochelle says, can we be on campus for any day that it's held? Well, Rochelle, this is virtual. And the beauty of virtual is that you can be anywhere. I don't know if specifically, you know, if there's something specific or it means something other than, you know, the obvious meaning to me in terms of you being on campus. But I noticed that Matthew said that there are no face-to-face elements, right? So nothing is stopping you from logging on to this while you're on campus, but yes, there is no on-campus event happening. So there will be nowhere for you to go to interact with the companies except for online. And you can access online anywhere you want to access it, as long as you have internet. All right. And for those who came late as well, just another reminder that you will get some emails from Hopin reminding you that the event is coming 1 week ahead, 2 days ahead, 1 day ahead, and 1 hour before the start. So those will be reminders, but we do want you to save it to your calendar because we don't want you to miss the event at all. But be sure to, you know, save it so that you get it. And in the rare case that you didn't get your registration email after you registered successfully today, check your junk mail, check your spam mail, and make sure that you save this email or report it as not spam, so that future emails from Hopin doesn't go to your spam inbox. But that rarely happens. But just in case, you know, so if you go there, you know, you go through your register, you're not seeing an email in your inbox right now after having registered, check your spam email as well, just to make sure. Did anyone not like the process? Anything, any criticism, anything negative? We want to hear that too, you know, so. If anyone has anything that they found challenging about the process or anything like that, feel free to let us know. But hopefully it was a seamless and easy process for everyone. And we're all tech natives, right? So, you know, for the most part, most of us wouldn't have had an issue with registering, but just in case. Right. Yes, Rochelle, we're all tech natives, right? So we're used to this. We're used to technology. We're used to social logins and email logins and all of these things. So we don't have an issue with that. All right, Matthew. I see with persons are still here. So it looks like they're waiting on some information to be shared, but I am all out. I have no other tips or anything to share with you. So I'm going to hand back over to you, Matthew, for you to, I guess, close out. And of course, remember, as I told you before, at the bottom of the description in the event, if you need any help accessing the event, you can reach out to the Careflow support team via WhatsApp or email. and we can assist you outside of this event or meeting today. All right, Matthew, over to you.
All righty, thank you again, Miss Tate. All right, so this was Miss Danielle Tate, who is the hands and feet behind our job fair. So she and her team from Carrefour, they're the ones doing all of the tech support and all the technical administration that is well needed to get job fair where it needs to be. So as said before, we need you guys to sign up and sign up quickly. Of course, job fair is literally about 2-3 weeks or so away. So we're encouraging you guys as early as you can, as quickly as you can to sign up. And on that note, I'm just going to repost again the Google form links for job fair. So there is one for final year students and there is one for the non-final year students. So we invite you to first select the category that you fall in and you fill out the appropriate Google form. And of course, after this session, you will be emailed the registration procedures. So you'll get information on how to register for Hopin as well. Okay, yes, job fair is 27 days away. Thank you for that update, Rochelle. Right. Also, we invite you as well to get connected and stay connected with my office via Instagram and YouTube. That is also part of the registration as well. So pretty much there is no admission fee. There's no fee attached to job fair this year. Job fair is free. So we just simply invite you to connect with us on social media, fill out the Google forms that we'll post in the chat. And of course, we invite you to sign up and register on Hopin. So let me just look for the Google form links to post once more in the chat. Okay, all right. So I'm about to post the link for final year students, and I'll just label it before I post it. So good afternoon to those who are just coming in. If you haven't already done so, we invite you to sign the register for today's session, so that way you can be included on our emailing list. So that way my office can send you information about job fair. And of course, I'm just going to post in the chat the links to register for job fair. So the first link that I'm going to post is for the final year students. So any student who is in their final year, or if you finish your degree and you're awaiting notification of completion, or if you're a graduate, then this Google form link is the one that you'll fill out to register for job fair, in addition to the procedures that you'll get from my office via email to register for Hopin. And I am now going to look for the link for our non-finalizing students or non-final year students. And that will be posted in the chat right about now. All right, so the link that I'm about to post in the chat is for all non-final year students and students who are doing internship. So this is the link that you'll click on for job fair registration, or rather the form that you fill out for job fair registration. In addition, we have a register for today's session, which I will repost again in the chat. So in case if you didn't fill out the register before, for today's session, I'm going to repost it. And once it's reposted, you fill it out and you'll be included on our mailing list so that you can get emails and updates from my office regarding job fair and anything that we have coming up. Just to add also, we have our virtual mock interview series coming up at the end of this month. And we are still looking for and still needing persons to sign up. So I'm also going to look for the Google form link for that as well, so that you guys can sign up for that also. All right, so let me look for the register for today's session, and I'm going to repost it. We also have a an evaluation form for today's session as well. So of course, we invite your feedback and your comments on today's session. Okay, Ronnie, the link for final year students was posted in the chat about 2 minutes ago or so. So look for the one labeled final year, finalizing students. If not, I will repost it. The link following that is non-final year / internship job fair registration. I am about to post in the chat the register for today's session. Okay, there you go, it was reposted. All right, and let me just post again the register for today's session. So once you fill this form out, you'll be added to our email list. And as I said before, you will be able to get updates and information about job fair from my office. And by that way as well, we will send you the procedures to register for Hopin. And let's see now. Okay, I also need to send you guys the evaluation. Let me just quickly look for it and post in the chat.
And Matthew, while you're looking for that, let me just clarify. If you registered when we did the walkthrough today, you do not need to register again for Hopin for the job fair. You already did that. That's what you did today. So when Matthew sends out that link, it would only be for maybe persons who came late and weren't able to do it during the session, or persons who for whatever other reason did not get to do it, and others who probably register on SAPNA but did not attend the session today. Okay, just to be clear.
Right. Okay, let me also look for. All right, so let me also post the registration for mock interviews in here as well. Okay, all righty. Okay. Okay, mock interview. Okay, all right. So I'm going to post in the chat the link for mock interview registration. Based on what I'm seeing here, I have 68 responses. I would just need about another 19 or 20 more. I just need 80 persons for this. So limited spaces are available for our mock interview series. So I suggest if you really want the experience of an interview, then you will sign up so that you can be accommodated in this series. All right, so just to note, limited spaces are available for the mock interview series. If you're interested, click on the link that was just posted in the chat and sign up accordingly. All right, so for those who just came in, who wouldn't be able to see any of the links, I am just going to repost the register for today's session. So if you have not signed the register already, it was just reposted. And of course, the links for job fair registration are posted here in the chat as well. Once you sign today's register, you will be added to our email list. So that way my office can directly send you information apart from us posting things on the portal and so on. And the link that I just posted in the chat is for all students who are in their final year, or if you're a graduate, then you will click on that link to register for job fair by Google form. And in addition, once you would have filled out today's register, you will be emailed the registration procedures for job fair. And that will outline to you step by step. You, of course, would need to follow our Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You would have filled out the appropriate Google form, and then we'll also give you registration on how to sign up for Hopin. And the last link that I'm about to post in the chat will be for any student who is not a final year student and or if you're seeking internship, then this will be the link that the Google form that you'll fill out to register for job fair, in addition to filling out following the procedures for Hopin. All right, so officially we have come to the end of today's session, which was on job fair sensitization, job fair registration. All right, so we hope that you guys would have learned how to register for job fair. Hopefully you got your questions answered. If not, you are welcome to contact my office, and if needs be, I can route your queries to the technical team for them to assist you. Otherwise from that, my office is always open for engagement with students. So just reminders again, if you had just joined the session or if you hadn't already, kindly asking you to sign the Google form for today's register. Once you do so, you will be added to our emailing list so that you can get information about job fair and anything else coming up soon. Also posted in the chat is registration for mock interviews that will be held at the end of this month, February 21st to the 24th. So if you are interested, then I suggest you click on the Google form and sign up because spaces are very, very limited. I have about 18 or about 19 slots left. We just need a total of 80 persons to sign up for that. Also posted in the chat was the evaluation for today's session as well. We, as always, invite your comments and your feedback on our implement sessions. Likewise, of course, for today, as we would have shown you and demonstrated to you how to register for job fair today. And also posted in the chat are the links for job fair registration. So note again, there are two Google form links for job fair. One is for final year students, and the other one is for anyone who is not in their final year and or who is seeking internship. So once you've identified your category, then you fill out the appropriate Google form. And once you do so, you'll be added to our email list. And more or less, we will also use those email listings to send you information appropriate for job fair as job fair fast approaches. And I see persons are still joining as well. So good afternoon to Abigail that just joined us. I'm just going to repost in the chat the links that you will need to fill out so that you can be kept in the loop. First, the register for today's session, and as well you wouldn't have been able to evaluate the session. All right, so at the very least, Abigail, you'll need to sign the register for today. Okay, and we have a couple other persons just joining in, and okay, good afternoon. What about the persons who are working full-time and are currently doing cooperative education? Should I register? Okay, that is a very good question. If you are a student who is doing cooperative education, you would be considered an internship student. And most likely, most students who are doing cooperative education are considered non-final year students. So you would register as a non-final year student. If it is that you are, well, if it is that you're not a final year student, but confirm for me though if you are in your final year or not. Okay, so by the silence, then I'm gonna, okay, so you're not a final year student. All right, so in that case, you are going to sign up as a non-final year student. So let me go ahead and repost the, okay, okay. So I'm assuming then you have at least say another year or so to complete then. Okay, so that means you have give or take 1 semester left. Okay, so technically you're still a student and you haven't completed yet. Okay, all right. Alrighty, all right, so good afternoon again to those who have just signed up, rather who have just joined. I am just going to post in the chat the appropriate links that you should have. Firstly, today's register so that you can be added to our email listing once you fill out that Google form. Also, I'm going to post in the chat the appropriate links for job fair. So there are 2 links going around for job fair. The first one I'm about to post is for anyone who is a non-final year student and or if you're seeking internship. So if you're a 2nd year, 3rd year, a 4th year, a 5th year, a 6th year, 7th year, and you're not in your final year, and you are seeking internship or doing internship, and if you're doing cooperative education, then you are going to fill out this Google form to register for job fair, in addition to what we'll email you once you sign today's register as well. And the other link that will be posted to register for job fair, this link now will be going to the final year students. So those who are in their final year, those who have finished their degree and they're awaiting completion, those who probably may have like 1 or 2 modules so much left to complete. So pretty much if you're on your last leg, you're in your final year, then you will fill out this Google form as you are a final year student. And I'll also repost the registration link for mock interviews. So we have our mock interview series coming up at the end of this month. Should you be interested and desire getting some interview prep, which will also help you prepare for job fair and any other interviews you have coming up, then I suggest you sign up for our mock interview series. Note though, limited spaces are left, as once we reach 80, that will be it for registration for mock interviews. But of course, registration for job fair is still open. So please feel free to sign up accordingly and be kept in the know and be kept in the loop. I'm just gonna briefly look, okay, whoa, wow. All right, so I have 82 responses for mock interviews, which means registration for mock interviews is officially closed now. So I am now going to close this Google form and I will now have to go through all of those responses and applications for mock interviews. All right, so regrettably, guys, mock interview registration is closed off. I have reached the cap, but nonetheless, job fair is still open. Job fair registration is still on, it's still open. Job fair is in March. So we encourage you as early as you can, as soon as you can, to sign up. So again, I remind you, once you have filled out today's Google form register for the session today, then you'll be added to our email listing. And of course, after this session, we will email you the appropriate registration that you should get for job fair. We'll also email you flyers and we'll email you any other updates that you should have or that are pertinent to you regarding job fair and anything else in relation to my office. And just to preempt okay, all right, Miss Heidel, I noticed that you had just come in. All right, so let me repost for you. So today's register, that's for the session today, which has already concluded. And let me repost as well the links for job fair. So if you are a final year student, then you will fill out this link. If you are not a final year, then you'll fill out the other link that I'm about to post. Right, And just to preempt, so we have about we have 3 more employment empowerment sessions left. So our employment empowerment sessions will run up to the week before job fair. So next week's session, thank you, and same to you, Ms. Tate. Yes, looking forward to seeing you at job fair. All right, so next week's session will be on interview prep, or as we very often title it, Ace the Interview. So again, if you need information or help on how to prepare for an interview, then next week's session is a must attend. And the remaining 2 sessions after that will be panel discussions. Of course, information about those will be sent out later at a later date, or possibly closer to the time of these sessions. All right, so regrettably, I have to leave because, well, I actually should have already left already because I have some other presentations to go and do. So reminding you again to fill out the Google form links that are placed in the chat. Today's register, so that way you will be added to the mailing list. Okay, Abigail, I see your question. Job fair, okay, your question was answered. Job fair is held online. Right, so unfortunately, job fair will not be held face-to-face this year, as was the case last year. So thank you, students, for turning up for today's session. I hope today's session would have helped you in terms of you getting your registration ready and up to date for job fair. Of course, should you need help or assistance, you're welcome to contact my office outside of this forum, or if you are able to come back to next week's session, then you may contact my office via that means. All right, so thank you guys. Have a good afternoon. Be safe. All the best with your other clubs and societies, activities that you may have. All the best in your coursework, in your studies, in your midterm exams, everything that you have to do. Be safe and be covered. See you all again next week. Be safe.